want to start. Something. We're ready to go home. That grocery store was crazy. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You guys see I'm wearing my favorite sweatshirt. It's my grandma sweatshirt that I got on Etsy. I will link the store that I got this from in the description of this video in case you want to go and get one for yourself. Today is day one of baking all the sweet treats that we are bringing to Christmas Eve dinner at my daughter's. I don't know what I am doing. This is going to be a lot of work. I need my trusty iPad that has all of my recipes right straight from Google. On the menu for sweet treats will be homemade marshmallows that are going to go in hot chocolate that is homemade, homemade chocolate chip cookies, and homemade meringue cookies. And I'm spreading the cooking out or the baking out over a couple of days because I would go insane if I try to make all of this in one day. Plus a hot cocoa is probably best made the day of. So yeah, let's get baking. Today will be day number one and we are going to make the homemade marshmallows that will go in the cocoa. We're going to be making a ton of marshmallows. I have an idea and I don't know if I can execute it, but I want to pipe the marshmallows into a little tree shape, even though I'm not going to food color them, like color them at all with food coloring, because I sometimes think that food coloring kind of like overpowers the taste. So I want them to be white. And now I'm like, should I pipe them out to look like Christmas trees if they're going to be white? Man, I was going to get sprinkles to put on them. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, I don't know what to do right now. We'll decide while we're making. This recipe takes about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes, somewhere around there to make. So let's get started. I will be linking all of the recipes that I used down below in the description of this video so you guys have all of the recipes that I am using. Today we are using Pioneer Woman's homemade marshmallow recipe. I think she ended up dipping hers in chocolate or something. I don't know. Or putting chocolate chips in them, but I'm not going to do that because the marshmallows will be one thing that is dairy free, as well as the meringue cookies, and my daughter cannot have any dairy or soy right now while she's breastfeeding a 4-month-old. For some reason, I didn't know this when my kids were little because I bottle fed them, but apparently babies can't have that stuff because it like irritates their stomach. And yeah, we'll just go with that. I'll spare you guys the details. Anyway, we're going to get out all of the ingredients and kind of set everything up for this recipe because it is a very time-sensitive recipe. Once you start doing one task, you kind of got to watch it and see it all the way through before you start on the next little bit. So I want to have everything together, and that way I hopefully don't mess up the recipe because this is very sensitive kind of recipe, making homemade marshmallows. We need powdered sugar. We need granulated sugar. We need light corn syrup. Gelatin. We only need 3 packs, so we'll have 1 extra. Kosher salt. We need vanilla syrup, but we're going to be a little bit fancy and use this vanilla bean paste. I love this stuff. This is also really good in a coffee, just this. The coffee and the milk. Oh, to die for. So good. I think we have everything that we need besides water. We'll need a little bit of like a cup and a half or a cup of cold water. So let's get started prepping everything and get started making this recipe. Step number 1, we need to coat our cookie sheet with a ton of powdered sugar. If you do not coat your cookie sheet or whatever you're putting your marshmallows in to like dry or set or whatever the right terminology is, you will have marshmallows stuck to everything. So you can either use cornstarch or powdered sugar, but I usually use this, and then once the marshmallow is all nice and dry, you can kind of dust any of the extra off. A lot of this does soak in though, I will say that. Yes, this pan is old. Don't come for me. Our powdered sugar. Generous amount, we'll just spread it out in a minute. Okay, let's spread this out. We might need some more, but okay, let's fill in the gaps that we have. Now that we have the pan all covered with powdered sugar, we need to get our gelatin in here with a half cup of cold water so that way it can start to bloom, and then we're going to get down and dirty on the stove and start mixing everything and getting the sugar all heated up with the corn syrup. So let's get to this part of the recipe. This is not a candy thermometer, but we need to get, and this only goes to 220, and we need to get this concoction, the water, corn syrup, and the granulated sugar all to be about 240 degrees. I've used this before. I made homemade marshmallows, so I'm just going to use this again. But candy thermometer that goes past or 240 would be best if you were going to make this at home yourself. First, we're going to get everything in here dissolved, and then we'll prop this in. One thing I forgot is we're going to put the salt into here. It's just a pinch. We don't want much. Boop. That should bring out all the sweetness. I used to have a handheld mixer, but we're going to use this. And I just realized how short this is, and the marshmallows get like very fluffy, and that's why we've got a very big bowl to mix them in. I think it'll still work. Already got my vanilla bean extract or vanilla bean paste sitting over here, because that's going to go in once we've mixed it together with the gelatin. But we're waiting for the sugar to dissolve, so have everything ready to go. I think we are done with every ingredient except for this. So I'm so excited because homemade marshmallows are yummy. They don't take a lot of time or ingredients. They do take a little bit of patience, and you just have to be like very patient while you're cooking the sugar and getting that all melted into the right temperature and then mixing it. Yeah, we don't want any of that hot sugar splattering on us, because that will literally burn us. It's time to put this thermometer on in here. I get a little scared, so I hold it with this pop handle holder thing. Turn that down, I'm scared. Yeah. Okay. Shh. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. We do need to have this up high. It just, we need to keep our eye on it. Okay, we are at almost 200. Slowly pouring that in. We want to put this on slow. Now we have mixed this up. We kind of want it to be a little bit more stiff, but just it's what it is, you know. Using the hand mixer is probably part of the problem. But we are ready to put this onto our powdered sugar surface and let these dry. I usually let them dry overnight. I think they need about 6 or 8 hours or something. So we'll probably come back and taste test the actual done firm, like dried up marshmallows tomorrow. Woo! Oh man, I don't think we made enough to cover this entire sheet. Okay, they are not perfectly cute and straight into one rectangle, but you know what? That's the joy of making things from scratch and at home. We're gonna have small little marshmallows that everybody can put in their cocoa that we will be making later this week together. This is already starting to get really sticky and kind of stiff. So let's give this a little taste test. Nobody else is gonna eat after me, okay? After this, I'm throwing this in the sink to clean it. Oh, these just taste so much better than the ones at the store. I cannot describe it. I think it's also the vanilla bean paste versus the vanilla extract. You guys have to try making your marshmallows at home. Welcome to day 2 of baking sweets for my daughter's holiday Christmas Eve party. I'm in charge of the desserts for the party. It's going to be my daughter, my son-in-law, the baby, of course. I think he'll be asleep actually by the time it all happens. It will be his sister, my son-in-law's sister, I think her boyfriend or fiance or husband, I'm not quite sure what their status is, and then his mom and his stepfather. Plus me, that's a lot of people. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 if the baby is still awake. That's a lot of people that I'm in charge of baking desserts for. Today we are going to be baking Bon Appetit's Crisp Morocco's chocolate chip cookies. I'm so excited. I've seen this recipe on TikTok a few times, and I've been dying to make it, but I hate baking sweets when I don't have like an occasion to bake for, because I just feel like I'll just binge eat, and I don't want to do that. And I've only ever baked Toll House chocolate chip cookies off the back of the recipe for the Toll House chocolate chips. I don't think I've ever deviated from that, just because that's what I grew up my mom making, and she never deviated from the back of the chocolate chip bag. My mom, we always had sweets in our house, and I feel like my mom always baked everything from scratch. It was rare that we had something someone else made or we picked up a sweet at the grocery store. My mom pretty much baked a sweet almost every single week, like once a week, and then we just have cookies for the week or have cookies for the couple of weeks. But that's how I grew up, and that's why I'm addicted to sweets now also. And that's why I try not to buy them like in a stock to have in my apartment. If I buy them, it's like one donut or something that I'm gonna eat right then and there because I'm having a craving, and then I'm done with it until I have the next craving, which is usually the next day. Don't see me, sometimes it'd be like that. But today we're gonna make the chocolate chip cookies, and I'm really excited. Look at these cookies. Oh my gosh, they look divine. So really excited about that. Okay, we're gonna look and grab all these ingredients that we need. Also, my iPad is dying, so I have to charge it. All-purpose flour, kosher salt, a fresh baking soda, my favorite butter, brown sugar, and regular sugar. We need 1 egg, but I don't trust myself, so eggs. It calls for vanilla extract, but I prefer vanilla bean paste, so we're a little bougie. Vanilla bean paste, which I also love putting this in my coffee so it will not go to waste. And the pizza resistance, or however you say that, chocolate. We've got the recipe pulled up right here, and then we have all of our ingredients right here. I am so excited, y'all! I've never made chocolate chip cookies that didn't include the Nestle Toll House chocolate chips, but I went out on a limb and got this chocolate, so hopefully this works, and hopefully it doesn't taste too bitter. I do love dark chocolate, but I can only handle it in small doses because it's so rich. Okay, let's see what our first step is. Okay, let's zoom this in. Step number 1 is to place the racks in your oven to the upper and lower thirds and preheat to 375. Okay, so let's stop and do that. Let's do this, and then we'll come back to this next step because I can't do all of this at once. I'm only one person. Please do not come at me if my oven is dirty. I hate cleaning it. That'll be a thing that I do before I move out. 375. Bake. Up, 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 up. Start. Okay, next step. Whisk a cup and a half plus a tablespoon of the all-purpose flour, a teaspoon and 1/4 or 1 1/4 teaspoon of the salt, or 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. We'll do this because I didn't buy that kind of kosher salt, but I got kosher salt. And 3/4 tablespoon of the baking soda into a small bowl and set that aside. Let's get that prepped. Small but clean bowl. My mom put me onto King Arthur flour a few years ago and I love it. So we're gonna use this. 1 cup, a half, and our 1 tablespoon. Boop, boop, boop. And we're gonna use this kosher salt. So we're gonna do a 3/4 teaspoon, or shoot, I almost did a 3/4 tablespoon. I think this is the biggest teaspoon that I have. Don't mind that, it just has some cinnamon in there. Is there anyone else that has to open a fresh baking soda before they get ready to use it for baking purposes? I can't use an old one. It just doesn't ever taste right. So we're gonna use this. Got a fork and we're just gonna mix this together so it's all combined. That way we don't get lumps of baking soda or lumps of salt in our cookies. Before we go any further with a bunch of mixing of ingredients, I wanna go ahead and prep this because we have to chop this up. And yeah, that way we can have everything ready to go and this can just be thrown in when it is time to do so. I plan on using all of this chocolate in these cookies. So. I admit this is not the right kind of knife, but it's my biggest knife. I need to invest in a new knife set. It goes well with this small knife. Should have went out and bought a big one. I think that this is well enough. Everything's not perfect, but nothing's like too big. And then we're starting to get all these crumbs, probably because I'm using this knife. Step number 2, now that we've gotten our chocolate together, we already did just this. So cook a half cup of butter in a large saucepan over medium heat. Ooh, we're gonna brown the butter. I love a brown butter. Yummy! I love this recipe because apparently it's like no fuss about, you know, you don't have to have a bunch of fancy things to make these chocolate chip cookies or using a spatula. Now it's time to break up the eggs! Let's do it! Time to move on to step number 3. Trying to fold in the dry ingredients a little bit at a time. Ah! The dough is done. Let's give it a little whirl. I don't want to eat off of this, so let's get a little spoon in here. Getting one of my little coffee stirring spoons. Let's taste it. Let's see if it tastes good. Yummy. Oh my God! I see heaven. I hear angels. It's so good. Okay, let's throw in the chocolate chips. I had chopped up the chocolate and then put it in the freezer because I like the chocolate to be extra cold so that way it doesn't get too melty in the oven when it's baking. So let's get that. And if you thought I was gonna let you see inside my freezer, no, I'm not. It's messy. Mind your business. have a little piece of chocolate. I'm gonna dip this in. We gotta try chocolate with the cookie dough. Here we go. Let's give it a little whirl. Oh my god. Okay. I can't wait to see how that turns out when it's all baked. But I feel like it's a perfect combo. The chocolate is bitter enough that it cuts through some of that sweetness. Oh, so good. We're getting fancy. We're breaking out the cookie scoop thing. So, keep it. Ooh, yum. Moment of truth. I cannot wait. Ooh, let's break it in half together. Oh yeah. That's delicious. It's very giving gooey, not gooey in the sense of underbake, but it's not crisp. You know, like a cracker or something like that, like a chocolate chip cookie of Chips Ahoy. Delicious. Okay. Yeah. It's got that like crisp outer edge. And it's nice and soft. Without being underbaked. Here is the entire batch of cookie dough. I love that this recipe doesn't like make 20,000 cookies, you know, like this is a manageable amount that I can bake a few. I'm probably gonna bake majority of these on Christmas Day to pass out because it's not a ton. And everybody wants to have like 1 or 2 cookies. So I love this. This is like very good for someone that's single or just 2 people because you don't have a ton of cookies to freeze off to bake. Oh my gosh. Welcome to day 3 of baking holiday sweets for my daughter's Christmas Eve party, dinner, whatever you want to call it. Today we have on the menu to bake hot chocolate, which we will do a little bit later. First up, we are going to bake the chocolate meringue cookies. If you don't know what a chocolate meringue cookie is, basically you take egg whites and you whip them really up to like they're like stiff peaks forming. You have to put like sugar and stuff in there. We'll put the sugar, vanilla, cream and tartar in there. And then once they form the stiff peaks, we're gonna put confectioner sugar and our cocoa powder and mix those together and put those, like fold them into the egg whites. And then you just put it in the oven for a couple of hours. The recipe calls to bake it for an hour at 200 degrees. Then you're supposed to let it cool from 2 hours to overnight. They need to be completely cooled. I did not realize this. We are baking this and we need to take them to the party tonight. We do have several hours, so we're just gonna leave them in the oven chilling until I feel like they're completely dried, and then we'll just take them out and we will wrap them up and bring them on our way, and hopefully we'll be able to try one together to see how they taste before we actually have to leave. I'm really excited. These, from what I remember, I haven't baked these in a long time. What I remember is even though there's not a lot of chocolate in there, you're putting like this, at least I'm gonna put this cocoa powder in there, and it's just organic cocoa powder basically. And this is something my daughter can have because it's dairy-free chocolate. And I am just really excited. But what I remember from baking these before is even though it's not a lot of chocolate, it packs a powerful punch of feeling like, it tastes kind of like a chocolate brownie. If you've never had these before, they're not hard to make. Just like the last recipe, the marshmallows are just like the marshmallow recipe. They are something of a time sensitive. You have to be really patient and be watching everything, and then put all the ingredients in at the right time, and you have to just be really diligent, and they're really sensitive and kind of finicky. But I'm hoping that we can get stiff peaks. I don't think I told you whose recipe we're using for this. It is from yourhomebasedmom.com, and as always, all the recipes that I've used for this vlog will be linked below in the description. First, we are preheating the oven to 200 degrees. So that way everything is ready. I find when I prep everything all at once and have everything ready to go and I'm not freaking going crazy at the last second, then I feel a lot more prepared. Cookie sheet out. I think we'll use old trusty over here. We're gonna line this with some parchment paper. Yeah. There we go. Here's the ingredient lineup. We have regular sugar, powdered sugar, cocoa powder, cream of tartar, vanilla bean paste, and star of the show, eggs, of course. Gonna mix this up. I'm very old school about this. We don't want any of the yolk. You have to be really particular about that. We cannot have broken yolk in these. All the egg whites are in here. We've got 4 egg whites. I've got my cocoa powder mixed with my powdered sugar right here. I've got my granulated sugar right here. Oh, I don't need this anymore. That was the cocoa powder. I've got a little vanilla bean paste, which the recipe doesn't call for, but when I'm baking stuff, I like to put a little vanilla in it, okay? And then our half teaspoon of cream of tartar. I think we have everything ready to go. We need to plug this up and we're gonna give it a shot to pipe these out. I forgot, my daughter has piping bags and like the tips. Forgot it yesterday at our house and she lives 40 minutes away. I don't feel like going down there to get it. We're gonna see because these bags, these gallon size freezer bags, are like this, where they have a fold in it right here, and I can't really cut a hole right here because it's not gonna work. I mean, maybe it could, so then I cut a hole right here in hopes that that will work. I don't know. Maybe I should cut a hole right here, but then there's still all of, I give up. We're gonna try that, but we can't fool with it too much because if we do, then we're gonna have very soft peaks. They're very temperamental, like I said. Fold it in. Gently fold. Some more in there. Actually, I'm just gonna put the rest. Didn't want them to be poop blobs. Okay, we might have a little something going on. Totally okay with me. Getting really limp and we need to hurry up. Look like nothing. And now we're ready to put these in the oven! Ah! They look so delicious. I was thinking we probably want to put them in the middle, but we can put them down here. There they go for 2 hours. Bye-bye, babies. We are ready to make our final recipe. I'm exhausted. We have made chocolate chip cookies, homemade marshmallows, meringue cookies, and now it is time to make the hot cocoa that goes with the marshmallows. So we are going to use Teeny's recipe. I'm sure Teeny's on YouTube. I don't know her YouTube page, but I will try to find it and link it. If not, I will link this particular. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that word. Pacific. But that's Pacific Ocean. Specific. There we go. Specific TikTok. I will link this particular one where she shares the recipe, but we're gonna make this minus the whipped cream because we did marshmallows instead of whipped cream. Well, okay, if we do have heavy whipping cream left, I will make whipped cream because why not? That'll take 2 seconds to make. 1, 2, half a cup of heavy cream is gonna go in. Putting this on medium low. Now that the milk is heated up, we're gonna put in our cocoa powder. Okay, now we're gonna add some of this chocolate that we broke up. I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time until it all melts. More chocolate. It's all melted! And because I have to bring this with me, I'm gonna store it in here in the fridge, and we're gonna leave a little left to have a little taste test. But I think we have plenty of hot chocolate for everybody to at least have 1 glass. I'm scared. Okay. Oh. Okay, we have our hot chocolate, and we're gonna add some of our homemade marshmallows, okay? I haven't taste tested them. Let's taste test the marshmallows together. I ended up putting them in here. I think that is plenty. I thought they were gonna turn out way skinnier than they are. They're a little wonky on the bottom because of all the powdered sugar. Look like hills on the baking sheet, but delicious. I just don't know what it is about homemade marshmallows are superior to store-bought marshmallows. Hot cocoa. I don't want to eat too many of the marshmallows because they are for the party, but we'll put a few in here. And then we're gonna torch them up, okay? Because you cannot have a marshmallow unless it is torched up. Couple on the top. Yum. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but it looks delicious. One more. Yum. Butane torch. We're gonna melt the marshmallows. That's more like it. Just a little bit on the top just to get them toasted. Oh yeah, that's what we like. Yum. That looks so good. Okay, first taste test of Teeny's hot chocolate. I'm so excited. Oh! Wow. It's very chocolatey, but not like in an overpowering way. It just is so good. It tastes like rich and chocolatey, and it definitely beats out Swiss Miss any day. And it took like barely any time to make this. Oh my gosh, this is a treat. Thank you for joining me this week as we made all these sweet treats. I hope that you enjoy them, and let me know in the comment section if you have made any of these or if you are going to make any of these. I'm really excited to hear your critique of each one of the recipes. Okay, I will see you guys next time. Bye!